So this is Transit Connect episode number 12. Right, I said in the last video that I was going to put a GoPro on my head, go out, do some mapping and stuff like that. And I tried, mounted the GoPro in the van, went out, tried to do some mapping, and I quickly realised that the van on the air ride is really unstable. And I also realised that I wanted to start like the boost pressure off really low and then like build the boost up as we went just to see how much it would take, obviously when I eventually put it on the dyno and blow it up. But I quickly realised that I couldn't get any less than like 16 psi through the van. So it got quite hairy. That was a lot of boost for a standard engine. I know I'm going to, kill it anyway and it's going to die. But, I kind of wanted to drive it around for a little bit. So 16 psi boost for a standard engine on airbags on each corner made it really unstable. So I need to change the suspension basically. I'm going to have to get rid of the air ride. So I've ordered some coilovers that they're not here yet. I've got some new wheels for the van. Don't know if you can see. There you go, nothing exciting. They're just 17-inch Cougar steels with Toro Proxy tyres, so that makes the hand a little bit better rather than the, the skinny van steels that it's normally on. So in this episode, it's going to be very short. I'm going to change the actuator to something a little bit more uprated because at the moment I've just got like a standard 1980s Escort turbo actuator on there, and I thought that'd be fine for about 10 psi, but for some reason it seems to be holding a bar. So there you go. Okay, so that's what we're doing now. So this is the actuator I've gone for. In true style, I didn't want to go spend like loads and loads of money, although this is what's happening with the van lately. But I didn't want to go spend loads of money on something like, flash, like a Turbo Smart actuator or something like that. So I went and bought this off of eBay. It's a, cheap Chinese thing. Actually, I think it's from Japan, but it's really cool. It cost me like 80 quid delivered, I think, something like that. And you get, there's obviously a spring in it, a base spring that comes in it as standard, but you get all different coloured springs, and each colour gives you like different boost pressures, like 1.2, 1.7, blah all the way up. So I can change the spring size in the actuator to give the desired boost level, or that's what the opening pressure is anyway. You get instructions with it as well, which is pretty cool. So, and you also get like loads of different rod lengths, and you get little fittings on the end and all the nuts and stuff. So you can pretty much make it fit anything. It's quite universal. So I'm going to try and make it fit my van, so that's the next job. So the standard actuator on my van is located down here now. Obviously it literally bolts on there with just that little plate that I made, and then the arm goes that way and connects to the back of the wastegate, or the penny on the back of the turbine exhaust housing. I've just driven this van in, so this is quite hot, which kind of sucks because I've got to try and get that off now. So yeah, that's next. I'm literally just going to try and unbolt these bolts without burning myself, unclip the arm, disconnect the vac hose, and yeah, away we go. So that's the actuator off the van. This is the one that I sort of, just threw together. As you can tell, a lot of engineering and thought went in to make this actuator bracket with a flat plate and 5 holes. But the aftermarket Japanesey actuator thing that I'm fitting, looks like I might actually get away with this quite well, because the studs look like they're fairly evenly spaced apart. Even the vac takeoff is sort of this very similar sort of angle. All I did when I fitted this to the van was just buy some studding off of eBay and then just some threaded tubes, and it sort of cross-threaded its way on there because the thread was a bit chewed up, so I couldn't get that off anyway. And then I just sort of made that thread between and blah it's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to unbolt that now, bolt that on there, see if I can match. I might measure that first, see if I can match that actuator arm length, and then put it all back on the van. And so I stripped the actuator down and took the standard yellow spring out and changed it for the green one, I think it was, something like that, which is rated to 0.8 of a bar. So I've put the actuator in the vise, connected it up to my little pressure pump thing, and I've noticed that at a bar it's fully open, and if I slowly let the air out, you'll see that the actuator starts moving inwards, and when it gets to about 11 it really starts to shut. So it should be around 10-11 psi, something like that, base pressure, because it starts opening. So if you watch not that you can see it very well, if you watch the rod, as the pressure starts dropping out, the actuator starts moving in, and at about 6 psi it stops moving. It doesn't go any further there. So up to 6 psi the actuator will stay shut, and then by the time it gets to 11-12 it will be about fully open. So I'm hoping Actually, I'm just hoping it's anything less than a bar boost really, so at least I can start low and then like work up. So yeah, that's where I'm now. Oh, and the other thing I've discovered as well is the longest actuator rod that it comes with is not long enough for this. It's literally a little bit too short. So all I'm going to do is cut this in half down the middle, tap the outer edge if I can, hopefully, tap the outer edge, and then just use this sleeve to sleeve it, just so I can make it a little bit longer, then just put like a lock nut either side or something like that. Well, I'm just going to go with the flow and see what happens. So yeah, that's next. See, it's never just like simple, just throw it together or anything like that. It's been a freaking ages now. So yeah, okay, that's what I'm going to do next. So after a bit of cutting, a lot of tap and dyeing, and I had to clean it. So obviously that was cross-threaded on the end of that one, so I had to, you know, clean all the threads up and stuff, and I swapped it all over, and that's what we're left with. I forgot to measure the length of the arm, so now I'm just gonna have to, you know, bolt it up and try and guess it and keep taking it on and off until I get the length of this right. Rule of the thumb is when this is bolted up flush onto the turbo, when it's in its sort of, you know, sprung back position like that, when you sort of go to hook that over the wastegate arm, you're meant to be able to see just a half moon, so you're meant to stretch it on and over. But I think I'm going to do it a little bit looser than that, just so it's obviously so it's holding the wastegate shut, but not as tight as it should be, if that makes any sense. Makes sense in my head, just not very good at getting it out there and, you know, getting it across. So basically I'm just going to bolt it on and then just drive it out the road and see what happens. And you know, if it boosts to 2 bar, then I'll try something else. If it boosts to 1 psi, then again I'll try something else. So yeah, I'm going to put this back on the van now and adjust it up. So there you go, the actuator is all fitted. I've plumbed it directly into the turbo, so it's just at what's known as like wastegate pressure now. I mucked about with the arm loads. I had to like give it a little bit of a tweak because it weren't very straight, and when I was like pumping the back of the actuator up with my my pump, it was sort of getting stuck when it was shutting and stuff. So I've given it a bit of a tweak and I got it to open and close nice and smoothly. I adjusted the threaded rod as well, so it's nice and tight, keeps the wastegate shut. And by about 13 psi, the wastegate is fully open, so I'm hoping it maybe will hold, I don't know, 11, 12 psi, but I have to give it a road test and see what happens, I guess. So yeah, that's next. Oh, I've got to put all the boost pipe back on and crank sensor and stuff like that. Okay, so the van has not actually got a boost gauge, right? But check this out. A customer gave this to me like years ago and asked me if I could fit it to their car, and I was like, no, I'm not fitting that. You know, I can't even pronounce it, so I'm definitely not gonna fit it. But now it's like a 60mm turbo boost gauge, electronic boost gauge. But now I'm tempted to fit it to the van because obviously it's free, so it's just sitting here. You know, it seems a shame to throw it away, although that's probably the best place for it, in the bin. But before I fit it, I'm gonna wire it up and I'm gonna connect it up. So wow, look, it apparently goes up to 3 bar. Should be mint for the van. But I'm gonna wire it up on the bench to a battery, and I'm gonna connect it to my little Blue Point like pump and see how accurate it is. But then I don't know how accurate the Blue Point pump kit is, so meh, let's just see what happens. So I'm just looking at this thing. It's got like a serious amount of plugs in the back of it for what you'd expect for a boost gauge. And it's probably got like a little map sensor and stuff like that. Oh look, a T to go into a VAT line. Maybe power. I wish there was instructions. What's that? What does this thing do? This is like a little, like a selector wheel. I'm curious now. Oh wow, oh look, you even get a mounting pod. It's gonna be perfect for the van. Here you go, look, we'll just glue that to the top of the dash. You get some stickers. Oh, you can get some VAT codes too. What's this bit for? Why has it got so many plugs? Hey, look, we've got some instructions. Okay, I'm going to have a read of this, and then I'll bring it up and I'll get back to you. Right, so I've mounted it in the vise, as you do. I've got all the map sensor and all that plugged in around the back, like it says. I haven't actually powered it up yet. The red wire is meant to be a positive, constant 12-volt feed, and the yellow is meant to be ignition, so I've just connected them together. Obviously ground is just ground. What's blue do? Probably dimmer or something like that. Yes, so when the headlights come on, you connect it to the blue one, so it obviously dims the gauge. Right, okay, I wanted to see this first with you guys. So what you get to see is what I get to see. And it's not working. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. What do you expect for nothing? Come on, there must be something missing here. It's connected up. That's charged. So there you have it. Doesn't work. Maybe I crushed it. Oh no, look, that went plugged in at the back. Here we go, here we go. Ooh. Oh wow, look at that. Looks like a freaking fairground. Ooh, she's off. Made me jump. I thought it died again then. Hey, check that out. Hang on, where's that little adjuster wheel? What does this do? Oh, peak. Oh well. Oh, so it'll probably record peak boost or something. Wouldn't it press it? Hey, look at that. Ooh, very sporty. What does that do? Peak? No. What about that way? Nope. Peak. Right, so I've got the map sensor plugged in. Going to my little snap-on pump thing that's not too great. So I think, oh, well, you can't see it. It's got all dim. I don't like the blue. Hang on. Oh. Yeah, that'll do. Right, okay. So let's see if it actually works. I'm going to pump this up to, let's give it 10 psi to start with. Hang on. Pump's not very good. True snap-on style. Down a bit. Oh, you mother. Okay. 10 psi. Hey, look. Yeah, that ain't too bad. Let's give it nearer a bar. 14.7. Oh, look at that. A bar. Hey, that ain't too bad, you know. That's pretty accurate. I don't know how long it lasts. Why is it beeping like that? Because it's over boost or what? God, that could get annoying when you're flat out. How do we adjust that then? Peak. Huh! Hey, this could be quite handy. How do I reset that? Oh, I reset it without even trying. Oh, I'm going to give it like 2 bar now. Let's see what happens. Oh! We blew a boost pipe. And that's why you should always cable tie stuff. So yeah, I think I might actually fit this to the van, you know. That could be quite handy. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that now. So you know sometimes when you get an idea and you think it's going to be a really good idea and you just go for it, and then after you go for it, you sit back and look at what you've done and just realise how big of a mistake you've made. I couldn't decide whether to put the gauge on that side or on that side, but I thought that side it's covering the fuel gauge and this side it'd be covering the temperature gauge. I thought if I run out of fuel, I'll break down, it'd be fine. I can get fuel, you know, it'd be, you know, no problem. Ugh. But if it overheats, then I'd rather know about it. So I ended up putting it that side, and now I'm kind of regretting fitting it, but well, it's there now. At least it works. Oh well, let's go see what boost it's running then. So there you go. When I boot the van, it sort of boosts up to like 0.8 of a bar, which is what I was hoping it would hold, and then higher in the rev range it sort of climbs up to like 1.2, 1.3 bar, something ridiculous like that. So I've actually, after all of today's effort, I've actually made the van worse. Well, so that's great. I don't know if like the actual internal size of the wastegate pennies may be a little bit too small, and it just can't bypass the turbine quick enough, so it boost creeps really bad. But I don't know, I might try putting a smaller spring in it and see if that helps, but it's late now, it's dark out, I can't be bothered, I want to go home. So that'll be maybe in the next video. I might just fit an electronic boost solenoid so I can now put more boost through it thereafter and just take it straight down to Devils, put it on the dyno and see how much power it will make before it actually blows up. I might just do that rather than faffing. I don't know, I'm going to go with the flow. So yeah, that's just the end of this little episode. I thought I'd still show you that I'm still around, I'm still doing the van. It's just, you know, time restraints with work and general life, to be fair. So yeah, hope you like this video. Share it, subscribe it, like it, and then I'll do more. Cheers, guys.